A mining accident is an accident that occurs during the process of mining minerals or metals. Thousands of miners die from mining accidents each year, especially from underground coal mining. Although accidents also occur in hard rock mining, coal mining is considered much more hazardous than hard rock mining due to flat-lying rock strata, generally incompetent rock, the presence of methane gas, and coal dust. Most of the deaths these days occur in developing countries and rural parts of developed countries where safety measures are not practiced as fully. Mining accidents can occur from a variety of causes, including leaks of poisonous gases such as hydrogen sulfide or explosive natural gases, especially fire damp or methane, dust explosions, collapsing of mine stopes, mining-induced seismicity, flooding, or general mechanical errors from improperly used or malfunctioning mining equipment. Use of improper explosives underground can also cause methane and coal dust explosions. On April 26, 1942, during World War II, in the Bengxihu coal mine in Liaoning Province, China, what is believed to be the worst mining disaster in history took the lives of over 1,500 people. The disaster occurred in an area that is now within the borders of modern-day China, but was at the time part of the puppet state of Manchukuo established by Japan after it invaded and occupied northeast China in the 1930s. The Japanese administrators of the mine forced Chinese laborers to conduct the mining work under harsh conditions. The disaster began with a fire in the mine. In order to suppress it, the Japanese operators cut off air in the ventilation shafts and blocked off the mine so as to deprive the blaze of oxygen. Most workers were not evacuated before these actions, and they were trapped within the sealed-off area of the mine. They suffocated to death as the fire burned off oxygen and produced carbon monoxide poisoning. Once the fire died out and the mine was reopened, 10 days were required for workers to remove debris and reach the bodies of those who had been trapped inside the mine. The dead consisted of 1,518 Chinese and 31 Japanese. Most of the bodies were later buried in a mass grave. After the war and liberation of China by the Soviet Union, the disaster was investigated. The Soviet report concluded that the majority of the deaths were not caused directly by the initial fire but were the result of carbon monoxide poisoning and suffocation resulting from decisions of the Japanese. This is an incomplete list of notable mining accidents and disasters. The Bulli mine disaster of the 23rd of March 1887 involved a gas explosion in the mine that killed 81 men and boys, leaving 50 women widows and 150 children without fathers. The Mount Kembla mine disaster of the 31st of July 1902 was an explosion resulting in the death of 96 miners, including 2 engaged in rescue work. It remains the worst mining disaster in Australian history. A coal dust explosion at the Mount Mulligan mine on the 19th of September 1921 killed 75 or 76 workers. Tasmania's Beaconsfield mine collapse occurred on the 25th of April 2006. Of the 17 people who were in the mine at the time, 14 escaped immediately following the collapse. 1 was killed and the remaining 2 were found alive after 5 days. The survivors were trapped in a 1.5 meters by 1.2 meters cherry picker cage, which had saved them from being crushed by rocks. As it was not safe for rescuers to blast their way through, a special borer was brought in to drill an escape shaft. They were finally released on the 9th of May after 14 days underground. 3 mining disasters occurred at Mora in a 20-year period. The first of these was in 1975, at the Kanga mine, where 13 men died in an underground explosion. The mine was sealed without their bodies being retrieved. In 1986 a second disaster occurred, as an underground explosion, which took the lives of 12 miners. The bodies of all those persons were retrieved. In Mora on the 7th of August 1994 a third major mining accident occurred with an explosion at Mora No. 2 mine. A second explosion at the mine approximately a day and a half later saw rescue attempts abandoned, and the mine was sealed, with the bodies of the 11 miners unretrieved. In the 1996 Gretley coal mine disaster near Newcastle, 4 men were killed when their mining machine broke into the flooded workings of an old coal mine. Abandoned over 80 years earlier, 4 miners were killed in a windblast incident at the North Parks mine outside the New South Wales town of Parks in 1999. On March 4, 1887, 120 miners died in a coal mine in Lurbool, Borinage due to a methane explosion. On the morning of August 8, 1956, a fire in the mine Bois du Casier in Machinel caused 262 victims, with only 12 survivors. A mining cart on an elevator cage hit an oil pipe and electricity lines, with the resulting fire trapping the miners. Most of the victims were immigrants. On September 4, 2014, after a 3.5 Richter earthquake hit Zenica caused rock burst in coal mine, Raspatu.